Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. I feel like shit. Let's proceed. Nothing terrible. I was just wondering what your plans are for after graduation. Are you going to university? Yeah, I guess I can't really see a reason not to go. Given any thought to what you'll study? Not really, no. I figure I'll come up with something when I get there. Mutou laughs. Taking things as they come, eh? I'd argue against it, but that's how I did things when I went to university. Well, not really. I knew I'd go into science, but I just wasn't sure which one. Ended up with physics, but could just as well have gone for astronomy or what have you. Actually, I did go for chemistry first, but there were all sorts of things. Mutou trails off and frowns slightly. It takes a minute for him to recover his train of thought, and I wait patiently for him to continue. So anyway, I did a lot of physics as well, because I had an interest in that, but I wasn't sure if it was for me. So I went back to chemistry, and here we are, yes? He smiles at me enthusiastically as if waiting for me to confirm that, yes, here is where we are. Somehow I get the feeling that Mutou had a plan for this conversation, but I'll be damned if I can figure it out. Sorry, I'm not following you. Mutou frowns and rubs his chin a bit, looking perplexed. He then snaps his fingers as if he's remembered what the point of all this was. Right, yes, you. Me? Yes, you should look into studying one of the sciences. You're fantastic at it. Unless you'd rather just go into math. Mutou makes a sour face. Not a big fan of straight math. I always liked the experiments more than the proofs. You're saying I should study science at university? You know, I wonder how many people could relate to Mutou now. He's like, yeah, I never really liked doing math or anything, but, you know, experiments in chemistry and stuff, that shit was awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't even get to really do much of that, because, you know, being taught at home and all, you can't exactly, like, okay, we're gonna work on some chemistry here. I did have, like, brief bits of it when I was actually in school, but it was very brief. So I'm pretty much a noob when it comes to that. And when it comes to math, I'm still not the best at it. And it's like, I suppose it just like, I don't know. It's like the one thing that is like annoys me about stuff like that is it's taught in a specific way. Like some people can like get the hang of something in their own ways, but it's because you gotta learn it at the way like that everyone else does, that it can like lead to either being like, yeah, I get this, or I don't understand. But then if you look at it in your own way, then it starts to slowly make sense. But it hasn't worked for me, but maybe you get what I'm getting at with that. So if you like looked at it in a different way, it confused someone else, but makes sense to you, that kind of thing. But it's all like, nope, everyone must have the same exact approach to this subject. If you find it confusing, tough shit. If you find it makes sense, good for you. If you don't, well, it's the only way you're going to learn is the same old way. Maybe. I don't know. I still find math confusing. It's just... it's like, as soon as I started adding the alphabet into it, it really did just get confusing, because nobody really gave me an explanation where I could actually understand what it all meant. Like, I only vaguely have any kind of idea of it, and I still don't really have a clue. But anyways, you're saying I should study science at university? Mutou seems thrown off balance by my question. Well, sort of. You could also join the science club. Trouble is, there's not actually a science club, but there could be. You could even be a charter member, a founding father. Of course you need to find all the members. Well, only if you wanted to. We could just start it up with the two of us. And, I could give you things to read, and we could talk about them. And I could help you get ready for university and such as well. Wait. Mutou rummages around in his briefcase and tosses me a book. Read that. If it's interesting, then we can talk about it. A brief history of time? I don't know if I actually want to read this, but Mutou seems pretty excited about it. Just like, come on, Hisao! I'm just like... You're like science, right? I thought nobody share all this joy and info on science. I know your pain, man. I have the same kind of thing going with music.
It's just like nobody to really talk to when it comes to that. He's just like, ah, man, you got all these ideas and all these things and all that, and just
What's it about? Time, space-time, black holes and such. It's not that dense, just to see if that sort of thing is interesting for you, you understand? Hang around after class and we can either discuss it or I can show you how to make explosives in the lab. Okay. He waves a hand at my quizzical expression. Joking, sorry. Still, I've kept you here long enough for that. Think about science as a career path, Akai. I think you'd enjoy it. Okay, I will. Thank you for the book. I leave the classroom and look up at the clock, quite a chunk of time to kill until Emmy's out of practice. Guess I'll give this book a look. I should probably shower as well. Showering before a date's only proper, right? Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, the relationship kind of like, yeah, they got intimate suddenly. Not to the intimate level, but the intimate level as in they are dating now, at least. And, you know, I can recall one of those scenes, and it just, like, the switch in character just seems, like, absurd. I just remember being like, what's with the freaking sudden assertiveness going on here? I would say you'll see what I mean when we get to that, but I'd off-screen that. Well, maybe, like, the lead up into it, maybe I could have that on screen, I don't know. But definitely not the scene itself, you know, because it's not appropriate. I head back to the dorms. I wonder where I'm supposed to meet Emmy, anyway. She said after practice, but she didn't say where I should find her. I guess I can just swing by the track. That's probably best, anyway. If she needs a shower, I can just wait for her in her room or something. Or in the hallway, I guess. That would be better as well. I take a quick shower, remember, and take my medication once I hop up. Now for a look at this book. I feel like shit. I really do, man. That's like maybe an hour or so ago. I was like downstairs, standing up with my guitar, playing guitar, and like I wanted to like record like the improvise and all that because I'm just like, why not? And the light and standing up playing guitar as well. Oh my god, it's so exhausting. And at the end of all that, I was like, nah. Because when I'd like use the webcam as well, and it just like makes the audio sound like shit for some reason. So it's like, what a waste. It just did all that, and at the end of all that, I was like, I would just like, that would be another reason why if I actually did like an actual live gig, it'd be like, can I just sit down with a guitar? It's like, no, we're a band. We all stand up on stage under all these incredible lights that make us go, what the fuck are we even doing? Seriously. It must be freaking, really freaking like, exhausting, I'd imagine, to actually do a live gig, because you'd be standing the whole bloody time, there's loads of lights, the volume of everything's a lot louder. I'd be like, oh, fuck this. I wake with a start. Shit, what time is it? It's... I always have trouble with that. It would be... It's... about 7:30? Well, not that it really matters, really, is it? But that's probably when I'm recording. It's just like, I want to, like, record more in advance, but I just wasn't able to do that in the previous recording session. It was just the one part instead of splitting into two, which is a pain in the ass, because, like, I'd have to record sometimes, like, right now, where I'm just, like, kind of, I don't feel like it. So then I kind of force myself to record, and then once I'm actually in the recording itself, starts to kind of relax into it, and I'm just like, okay, let's do this. I glance at the clock, reveals that I have been asleep for nearly an hour. Thank goodness. Emmy's practice should be finishing up soon. I throw on some casual clothes and head for the track. Somehow I get the feeling we won't be doing anything fancy for dinner. Maybe doesn't strike me as a very fancy sort of person.
Still, I suppose there's a lot I have yet to know about Emmy. Despite our newfound closeness, I still feel like I don't know her as well as I should. Ah, well, I have lots of time to fix that. To be honest, I'm looking forward to getting to know her more. I'm so caught up in my own thoughts that I hardly register that I'm already at the track. Emmy is nowhere to be found. I don't even see any signs of the track deep. Into action.
Yeah, and I think I might have an early night. Honestly, because, like, my sleeping pattern has been absolutely terrible lately. Just so all over the place. Just like, I hate that. It happens, well, yeah, it does happen somewhat often, but not, like, a ridiculous amount. Like, today I feel like shit, I feel like that's part of the reason, but anyway, this could be embarrassing. I turn to head towards the girl's dormitory when I hear a shout. Hey, Hisao! I turn around to see Emmy making a beeline for me with a gym bag slung over her shoulder. She's changing some decidedly more casual clothing, a pair of shorts and an olive green top. Her running blades are being replaced by more realistic looking ones that probably wouldn't fool anyone. Emmy doesn't seem to care about that, a fact which makes me smile. Hey, you came! I mean, I figured you would, but still. I suddenly find myself wrapped in a rather affectionate hug, and it proves to be impossible for me to keep what must be the world's largest grin off my face. Well, of course I came. It'd be crazy not to, right? Emmy ponders for a moment. You know, that's true. I mean, I'm pretty amazing after all. I shrug in response. I certainly think so. It's an offhand remark, which is why I'm surprised to see that it seems to have caught Emmy by surprise. She blushes and smiles warmly at me before planting a kiss on my lips. Now it's my turn to be surprised. Emmy steps back, resting her weight on her back heel, looking pleased with herself. My brain fumbles for an appropriate response. I should compliment you more often. Emmy laughs and gives me a playful shove. Jerk! I throw an arm around Emmy's shoulders, and I'm pleased when she immediately leans into me as if it were the most natural thing in the world. So, where to? I'm not actually sure. Where do people go on dates around here anyway? That's a damn good question. I've got no idea. Well, why don't we just head back to the Aura Mart and grab something portable? Emmy's face brightens at this idea. A picnic! I think you're on something, Hisao. Emmy snakes her arm around my waist and we begin to head for the front gate. I'm entirely unsure of what I'm meant to do in this situation, but at least Emmy seems to be equally clueless. Despite the relaxing feeling of being with Emmy, I still can't help feeling a little tense. What if I do something wrong? I hate to make an ass out of myself. Our trip to the Aura Mart is accompanied by Emmy's chatter about how practice went. I keep quiet for the most part, merely enjoying the warmth of being around Emmy. A second. Right. I just want to actually have, like, Camtasia all the way to the sides, so that I can see how we're doing for time without having to click off it. Because I really do think I'll just, like, do one part recording here, like, just one part, one session, because I feel like shit today. I keep, for the most part, merely enjoy the warmth of being around Emmy. They get a few odd looks from passers-by, but I don't mind. We wind up buying some bread and instant noodles, realizing too late that we cannot actually cook the latter in the park. Oh well, I'll make it for lunch or something. That'll work. The park is located off a brief loss of direction that I blame entirely on Emmy. She of course blames me. We find a spot beneath a tree and sit down. I lean back against the truck. Emmy sits across from me. I guess we should have brought a blanket or something to sit on, huh? Emmy shrugs. I don't mind. How do I? Emmy tosses me a package of bread and we dig in. Curry bread. Interesting. I guess I wasn't really paying attention when I grabbed in the store. Hey, so you look like your bread's a little spicy. I shake my head, trying in vain to keep an image of manliness. What would be an image of manliness? It's hardly spicy at all. I see, that must be why your face has gone so red. Yes, exactly, the lack of spice has got my blood up. The
because of the disappointment. Emmy laughs and swallows the last of her bread.
Well, if you can't handle it, I'll be able to take it off your hands.
Hey, just because you wolfed down yours so quickly doesn't mean I'm just going to give you mine. Emmy mock pouts caused me to nearly choke on my bread with laughter.
Oh, come on, Hisao. Aren't you supposed to be concerned with making sure I've got enough to eat now? We're dating, you know. Though, Emmy looks troubled all of a sudden. I can't say I feel any different.
What do you mean by that?
What makes this a date? It's just what we would have done anyway, really.
But this should feel different because before when we had lunch we were friends and now we're a level above friends. You sound like Rain. Laughter escapes and Emmy grins.
Well, she might have put the thought into my mind. We've talked about this sort of thing before.
Really? Not me?
Not really, just stuff, really. I didn't think that the change of a label from friend to girlfriend seems arbitrary most of the time. Like there's no difference between the two.
I can think of at least one, you know. You don't tend to kiss your friends quite as much. For the second time that day, Emmy blushes slightly and giggles.
I suppose you're right.
Exactly, I'm always right about things like this. Like that. Just like, about to say that and realize I said this. And I still feel like crap. Just like, oh man, we're going on this date thing and I'm just like, the whole time. Emmy rolls her eyes and chuckles.
Guess you're pretty smart, huh?
I nod in agreement. Yep. Even Mutou thinks so. He thinks I should go into some scientific study after graduation. Emmy raises an eyebrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm thinking I actually might do just that. Really, the more I consider the idea, the more it appeals to me. I make a mental note to look into it a little more closely. So, what do you think of doing after graduation? Still planning on running? Emmy shrugs, seeming almost a bit hesitant.
I don't know, if I'm good enough and I can find a team, I guess.
I mean, you aren't sure?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
Really? You probably should, you know, graduation isn't that far off. Emmy fidgets a little nervously.
Yeah, well, it's far enough, right? Besides, I've got other things to think about.
There's a mischievous flash behind Emmy's smile and I suddenly find myself gloriously pinned against a tree.
Like making sure this is a real date, right? I mean, if we don't kiss, then it's not a date at all, right?
I suppose. Strawberries? You know, I made it like sound like instead of just being like a kind of like just being kissed, it seemed more like I can't do sound effects. Well, I can sometimes, but not that sound effect, I see. Strawberries and curry, not the best combination, but I don't think I mind. That is an odd combination. Emmy sits back on my legs and grins again.
Yeah, science would approve, right?
I have the oddest mental image of Mutou nodding seriously and making a mark on some checklist. I do, I can totally picture him just like nodding, writing something down, just like, check. I can't help laughing at the idea.
Well, I admit this is the first time I've ever witnessed a kiss met with laughter before. Should I feel offended?
No, I'm sure science approves. Emmy beams at me and I find it increasingly difficult to keep my brain functioning properly.
Oh, good!
It is at this point I notice that Emmy has stolen the remainder of my curry bread while I was otherwise occupied with images of teachers wielding clipboards.
Hey!
Emmy tries to look innocent, but considering she's just crammed the last bits of my bread into her mouth, it does not appear to be working.
So, we couldn't resist. Thief!
Oh, the way I said thief there, it sounded totally different to how I'd usually be like, thief! Oh, I don't even know. A shrug from my companion is all I get in response. You used your feminine wills on me. I wasn't that hungry anyway, but I still feel that the point needs to be made. Emmy seems confused by the phrase feminine wills. I don't even know how to pronounce here, but the understanding dawns on her features after a moment's thought.
Wasn't anything of the sort. You were laughing. Feminine wills don't involve laughing.
I guess I can't argue with that. That doesn't change your thievery. Emmy laughs at my injured tone and gives me a playful shove. Fine, you can have the instant noodles. You kidding? That stuff's terrible. If anything, you should definitely eat it as punishment. Another laugh from the girl sitting on my legs, both of which have fallen asleep by now. What? I switched one leg to try waking it up, which has the unintended effect of unbalancing Emmy, who falls to the side where starting to eep. Well, sorry about that. Legs fell asleep on me. Emmy remains on the ground giggling. Oh, I know that feeling all too well. Sit down, especially when I'm recording, sitting cross-legged, cause, well, no, I could just do this. Yeah, sit like that. But when it, like, I have a, like, essentially I can relate to the whole dead leg thing. It's like when you get up, it's like, whoa, shit. I stand up a little shakily, feeling the nerves in my legs return to normal. My eyes wander up the scenery before fixing on the figure of Emmy, who has yet to get up. Her hair is splayed out around her head, her arms are spread, and laughter is bubbling up through her mouth. And is the camera panning out? Or I think it was for a second. Everything about Emmy seems condensed into this one image. Her energy, her spirit, her childish giggling, the bird chirping in the background, the urge to lay down on the grass with her rises swiftly from the back of my mind to the forefront of my thoughts, and indeed I am convinced that I would love him nothing more than doing just that. Unfortunately, the sun has set, and it is probably time for us to get back to the dormitories. Well, Emmy may be happy to stay out here all night. I don't think I have that ability. Besides, homework soon beckons. It wouldn't make sense to start thinking about things like university and then slack off, would it? Extend a hand to help Emmy up. We should probably get going. Emmy makes a sour face. You're right. She grabs my red hand and pulls her to her feet and into a hug. This time I'm the one who kissed her, unable to resist having Emmy against me. Seems a shame to leave, you know. Yeah, it does. But if we don't get back to the school soon, we'll probably get into trouble. Emmy pokes me in the ribs playfully. And you need to do your homework, I'm sure. Sadly, you're absolutely right. You know, that reminds me, I got a guitar lesson tomorrow. I haven't done much of my homework, really. It's like, some of the simple stuff was like, we were like talking about like time signatures, and he gave me some examples of songs to look up, and I still haven't looked them up. I've had a week to do that, and I still haven't. Just like, oh man, that's just so bad. I don't know why, but I always do that. Last second, every time. Sadly, you're absolutely right. I throw my arm around her shoulders, and we make the trek back to the school, accompanied by occasional bouts of laughter as our conversation jumps from subject to subject. Everything from running to school to the peculiar way that one of the cafeteria workers smells. All too soon we find ourselves outside of the girls' dormitory building. Well, I guess I'll be going then. I guess so, huh? Emmy grins at me again with that mischievous look. Are you gonna be able to survive without me? I laugh. I'm sure I'll manage. Oh, terrible. Aren't you supposed to say something like I'll be counting the seconds you're away? I don't think so. But you are really loud. And, you know, I've mentioned, I feel like shit, so the bird just kind of like makes me just like, thanks. Give me a headache as well, why not? Ow. Emmy pulls me down to a quick goodbye kiss and steps back, looking unexpectedly shy. Thanks for dinner. I really had fun. Honestly, I did. So did I. But I felt like shit, but hey, whatever. I think we shall have to do it again sometime. Emmy laughs at my deadpan delivery and nods. That reminds me of that whole TV tropes thing I kept mentioning about. I think it was in the previous part, or maybe it was the recording session before that. One, like, that just trope that's kind of relatable for me is deadpan snarker. That's me, man. Just sarcasm after sarcasm. Just incredibly sarcastic. See you bright and early tomorrow morning, right? You've got to run off that bread after all. Of course, despite the fact that you ate most of it. Yeah, despite that. See you later, Sal. As Amy turns to head inside, I notice something weird. Something so weird I'm surprised I didn't notice it earlier. She's limping slightly, favoring the left leg. Hey, Amy! Is your leg okay? Amy looks confused, or at least fakes confusion. What are you talking about? Your right leg, you're limping. There's the briefest flash of concern on Amy's face. Oh, she didn't want me to know, or she didn't think I'd notice, or... I think she just didn't realize it. Oh, that. She shrugs casually. Must have gotten knocked a little out of alignment during the picnic. No idea what would have caused that, of course. I think back to being pinned under the tree. Ah. You should have told me. We could have stopped and fixed it, you know. Emmy waves a hand arrow. Nah, it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it, okay, Sal? It's fine. Why do I get the feeling that she's convincing herself as well as me? I think... I'm not sure. Walk through. Yep, we press her. Are you absolutely sure? You don't want to go ahead and adjust it before heading up the stairs? You could get hurt if you don't, right? I said it was fine, Hisao. Seriously, don't worry about it. I've got some experience in these matters after all. Yeah, I suppose so. Emmy grins reassuringly. Honestly, Hisao, I appreciate the concern, but I really am okay. And now, really, I need to get going. Your attempts to keep me around are doomed to fail. Of course. Just prolonging the goodbye, I suppose. Another grin lights up Emmy's face. Good night, Hisao. Good night. As she limps inside, I find myself hoping she's okay despite her assurances that she's fine. I think I can call this a successful first date. Hell, any day that ends with Emmy pinning me under a tree to kiss me can't be bad, can it? I head back to my room, mentally thank the gods that Kenji doesn't ambush me in the hallway, and get started on my homework. I wonder what Kenji's thoughts on their relationship would be like. What? You're going out with that girl? Ah! I warned you about her, Hisao, and you didn't listen. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Always have to have a bit of do-do-do-do-do-do. The morning is far too early for my taste. That's the mornings in general. You wake up in the morning, so like, it doesn't matter what time in the morning. It's like, this is too early, man. But like I said, just like, I feel like shit today, so, you know, short recording. So I'll call it a part. Well, it would be a part here, even if I did continue the recording on from this point, you know. But instead of like going for 2 parts in a row, we'll just go with just one for today. Like, kind of like the last recording session was just one, except it was a lot longer. But anyways, we'll see you next time then, viewers. See you next time.